Hey everyone, welcome to the next lesson of the month. We're going to be talking a little more about Eldon Shamblin single note fills. In the previous lesson, I kind of set the groundwork for it, looking at quarter note ideas. Now we're going to get more into eighth note ideas and some practical kind of practice tips on how you can kind of get this into your playing in a slow and kind of sure way. So when I first was learning this, what I would do is kind of break up my bars into ideas of either the chord formations and the chord passages or the single note fills. And by that I would kind of like designate where I want to do that. So a really common one that I practiced a lot, and you can kind of hear it when I play, is I would typically play a whole bar, so 4 beats of chord, and then I would play in the next bar, because typically what happens in these tunes, and especially Western swing and country, you get 2 bars of the same chord. I would play 2 beats of the chord I was on, and then I would play 2 beats of eighth notes or quarter notes, depending on the fill, of just single note fills. So it would have something where I would maybe go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, right? And I would use that kind of transition, those last 2 beats as a transition to get into the next chord, throwing in that eighth note run. So it would just help me just to slowly do that, just to kind of figure out where I am in the changes and kind of reinforce my sense of time and rhythm there. And just also have a clear spot of where I'm going to do it and how I'm going to resolve. Because the idea of that run is, you start somewhere and you finish somewhere. And where you're finishing, you're meaning to actually go. So having your end point is really good, because you could kind of mess up the beginning of the run. Maybe you put in a chromatic you didn't want, or whatever it may be. And as long as you end right, it doesn't really matter. If you get where you're going, that's what's important. So in that, I was just thinking, okay, I've got 4 eighth notes that equal 2 quarter note beats. So 1 and 2, and I land on my G, my 4 chord that's coming next in the progression. So if I put it into context, you know, I did the same thing there, right? At the end of the G, I went A, B, I just bridged B to C sharp with a chromatic, and then landed right into D there. 1 and 2 and 3, just like that. So, you know, you can have a good little run that's change up the rhythm there, just to kind of get something different. So whenever you start kind of mixing and matching those two things, you can kind of create something nice. And then you throw in the quarter notes back in. So I might, you know, and it varies it, so it even sounds more musical. And that's where we're going after, right? So that's kind of one of those things I would do. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can practice that. Take it just to different parts of the progression, like I was